Hi, I thought I would give you guys some more practice on 11.1. It looks like that is a struggle. So if you turn to page 145 in your book, there's activity 11 practice, and I'm going to do the 11.1 section. So I'm just going to work these 4 problems in all the parts. So number 1 says, Misty determined that she got 64 miles per 2 gallons of gas from her car as she drives from her house to the ski slope. Create a ratio of Misty's miles per gallon. So I'm saying 64 miles per 2 gallons, which actually reduces, right, to 32 over 1. So that's a ratio of miles per gallon. Using the ratio you found in part A, determine how far Misty can go in 1 gallon of gas. Well, right here is 1 gallon of gas. She can go 32 miles. How many miles could Misty travel on a full tank of 12 gallons of gas? So this one might require my calculator, but if I do 12 miles times 32, that's going to give me, let's see, 384 miles. Okay, so you can check that on your calculator there. All right, and number 2 says, Bryn rides her bike 84 miles in 4 hours. Create a ratio of Bryn's mile per hour. So again, I have 84 over 4, but then if I reduce that, that goes in 2 times 21 over 1. Using that ratio, determine how far Bryn can ride in 7 hours. So I would need to use my calculator to do 7 times 21. Hopefully you don't need your calculator, but 147 miles. If Bryn rides 57 miles at the rate indicated, how long will she ride? Okay, this is a little trickier because I know that it's 21 for just 1 hour, right? So no matter how many hours I have, I can multiply, but this time I know she went 57 miles. So what I'm going to have to do here is divide. So if I have 57 divided by 21, and I put that in my calculator, it means that she probably was riding approximately 2 hours and 7 tenths. So 2.7, hours. Get the correct unit on there, hours. And number 3 says, what's the slope of the line shown? Well, guess what? This was our bell ringer today. So if I find some good points here, and then I count. So this is at 0, 4, this one's at 2, 1, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and I went down, so that's a negative 3, and then I go 1, 2, that's a positive 2, negative 3 halves, that's B. And we did a couple of these for our bell ringer also today for number 4. It says find the slope and the y-intercept of each of these. So we did A in class. So if I go from 1 to 7, that means my change in y was 6, and I went up 6, so that's a positive. Over here, my change in x was a positive 3. Well, 6 over 3 needs to be reduced, and that would be a positive 2. Or 2 over 1 would be even just as correct as 2. Both are ratios. B says I went from 10 to 4. Well, that means I have to go negative 6 because I had to move down. And then from negative 3 to 0 is 3. So again, if I reduce, I'm going to get a negative 2. We did those 2 in class on our bell ringer today. So now I have a couple more that I can practice. If I go from negative 3 to negative 1, that's a 2 that I moved up, right? I went positive up from negative 3 to negative 1. And then over here, I went from 0 to 2. That's a positive 2. So 2 over 2, that is a slope of 1. Over here, I went from 5 to 9, right? That's still going up by 4. And then over here, negative 1 to 0, that's going just 1 to the right. So that slope is 4. Now I need to go back and do all the y-intercepts. Well, hopefully they gave them to me because otherwise I'm going to have to graph to see where it crosses the y-axis. But remember, y-intercept is when x equals 0. So if I look there's a point, there's a point, there's a point, and there's a point. So if this was in Schoology, I couldn't just circle it. I would have to rewrite this as a point, 0, 1. This one would be 0, 4. This one would be 0, negative 3, and this one would be 0, 9. Okay, it's as simple as just finding them in that case. And that's the last one for the activity practice that has to do with 11.1. See you in class.